Hello, this is Jen Rubin, and this is Jen Rubin's Green Room. I'm glad you found us today, and it's even easier to find us if you subscribe, so just click right there. We are on a Tuesday as we record this, the day after the Iowa caucuses, and several things stood out to me on that Monday. Granted, it was cold, but Iowans are supposed to be used to cold, and it was a cruddy turnout. It was about 100,000 or so people. That's down some 40% from last time. I think they have a little bit of an enthusiasm problem over there. It wasn't that Donald Trump blew away everyone with 1 million votes. He essentially got 50,000 or so votes out of an entire state. That's his base of support. Well, obviously he'll have more votes in the general election, but you have to think, has the media misread this and continued to build him up because he has such a strong hold on such a small group of people? And I think when they are surrounded by him and his followers, they frankly tend to exaggerate the strength of his appeal. Yes, he is absolutely glued at the hip to fellow fascists, to people who don't believe in democracy, to people who want an authoritarian, to people who want to use the military and the Justice Department to get back at people, for people who really don't think non-whites and non-Christians are real Americans. Those people he's got in his pocket. There is nothing he's going to do. He will get convicted and they will still be with him. But that's a relatively small part of America. Yes, it's too big. Any number of people who believe that kind of stuff is too big for a democracy. But they've really never broken out above about a third of the electorate. And I think that's the key. I think continuing to expose the rest of the electorate to just how malicious he is, how weird he is, how nuts he is, how dangerous he is really ultimately the way to win the election. And it's going to be those soft Republicans. Right now they're Nikki Haley voters, but the exit or the entrance polls in Iowa told us a whole bunch of them would gladly vote for Joe Biden before they would vote for Donald Trump. So target those voters. It's soft voters. It's never Trump voters. It's independents who maybe in the past have voted Republican, but not recently. It's those people who are still malleable, still open to some kind of persuasion, open to reality that Democrats are going to have to reach out to and make the case that if you simply want sanity, if you simply want our democracy to function, you need to vote for Joe Biden. He's really the only person who has a ghost of a chance to win. It's not going to be when you throw your vote away on a no labels or a green candidate or a libertarian. You need all of those people, all of that anti-Trump vote in one place so that Joe Biden can win. And that's the great task that is before us. Now, I think there are some positive signs on the horizon. First of all, Joe Biden raised a ton of money in the last quarter, and you don't raise $97 million when you don't have a level of excitement and enthusiasm, particularly since most of those, the overwhelming number of those, come from small donors. So I think the level of support and enthusiasm for Joe Biden has been grossly underplayed. Second, the economy really is strong, and I think it will sustain itself through the end of this year, at least through the election. And you have some signs that people are beginning to recognize it. Consumer confidence is up. And once people begin to feel better about the economy, inevitably they will resist changing the president. Why hop on the other horse in the middle of the stream, or whatever the phrase is? So I think some gradual recognition that, yes, the economy is good. And third, Donald Trump is going to spend a lot of time in court. And he was in court today in the civil case involving E. Jean Carroll. He was earlier in the week and last week in the civil case, which will determine whether he fraudulently inflated his finances and therefore has to pay a hefty amount to the state of New York. And of course, we very likely have 2 criminal trials coming up. And you're going to get an eye load. You're going to get more than you could possibly imagine of Donald Trump screaming that he's being set up, that he did nothing wrong, that he can do whatever he wants, that he's immune from prosecution, that the whole system is opposed to him. And it might work with his people. It might work with those 50 some odd thousand people who turn out in a snowstorm in Iowa. But for the rest of the America, they're going to get up close a view of what this guy is like. And he's unhinged, he's angry, he's irrational, and they're going to be reminded of it every day. And oh, by the way, he may very well get convicted. And if you believe those polls that they took at the Iowa caucus, about 30% of the Republicans there said they won't vote for him if he gets convicted. Now, we'll see if they really mean it when he is convicted, if he is convicted. But those are some pretty good signs. And so we are just beginning the Donald Trump coronation to the nomination. But the battle for sanity for the White House for the general election has only just begun. So stay tuned. If you enjoy this program and you enjoy Jen Rubin's Green Room, make sure you subscribe. You can click right here and tell your friends. They can get the program on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever they get their podcasts.